Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel AG Motion Designs, and in this video we will try to create this logo animation in depth by using Adobe After Effects, Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. This tutorial is divided into three sections. Section 1, we will try to create our logo structure in Photoshop and Illustrator for our animation. Section 2, we will try to animate this logo in After Effects. Section 3, we will try to add some extra effects and finishing our animation. And our final output is ready. And if you want to learn more about motion graphics, 3D animations, logo animations, typography and much more in depth, then don't forget to check out my Udemy courses. Links are available in the description. And if you're new to this channel, then please consider to subscribe this channel and also hit the bell icon to get more updates. So without wasting any much more time, let's get started. Okay, so now we are going to create our files to get animated in After Effects, and for that we are going to use Photoshop and Illustrator. Now I have this Amazon logo over here, and you can choose any logo you want, but the kind of animation I'm gonna do is related with Amazon products. So let's try to do it. Now obviously as always I need each and every one on separated layers, so obviously we will need to remove this white color background. So go to the select, choose color range, and with the help of this picker I'm going to pick up this white color. Fuzziness choose 180, simply hit OK and delete, and hit Ctrl D to deselect it. Now I'm going to press M, which is a shortcut key for selecting our rectangle selection tool. I'm going to select this A, hit Ctrl X, create a new layer and press Ctrl Shift V to which is a shortcut key for paste in place, and simply type A over there. Now same thing I'm going to do for this M as well. So hit Ctrl X, new layer, Ctrl Shift V, double click, and let's call it as M. Okay, let's try to do this same stuff for this A as well. Double click, let's type A, select this Z, hit Ctrl X, new layer, Ctrl Shift V, double click Z. Then we will select this O, Ctrl X, new layer, Ctrl Shift V, double click, and let's call it as O. Select this N, hit Ctrl X, new layer, Ctrl Shift V, and let's call it as N. And this stuff is going to be our arrow, so let's call it as arrow. Okay, so our portion is ready. Now we will go to the Adobe Illustrator and we will try to create one box. So here we are in Adobe Illustrator, and I have already created one file in Illustrator. If you don't know how to create this file, simply go to the new option, Ctrl N, and over here make sure to choose customs, and width choose 1920 and height choose 180, like this and like this. Okay, in pixels and RGB mode, and simply hit create. Now I have already created this file and I'll save this. Now I'm going to press M, which is a shortcut key for selecting our rectangle tool, and I don't want any stroke, so I'll delete the stroke. And for the color, right now I'm going to choose red color because I want to see what my animation is gonna look like. Okay, and let's create one rectangular structure like this. Okay, and press Ctrl Alt Home to align the anchor point to, sorry, we are not in After Effects, but we will simply press V, which is a shortcut key for selection tool, and go to the horizontal aligned and vertical center. Okay, so this is going to be my main structure. So after that select this and Ctrl C, new layer, and press Ctrl Shift V, and simply move this over here in such a way that it should touch this. Press E, and let's try to decrease the scale a little bit like this. Okay, select this, press Ctrl C, create a new layer, press Ctrl Shift V, and let's try to bring the scale like this. Okay, now select this, hit Ctrl C, create a new layer, press Ctrl Shift V, bring this over here, press E, which is a shortcut key for transform, and by holding shift I'm going to rotate it like this. Go to the horizontal aligned text center and make sure to click on it, and let's hide these two layers like this, and let's try to bring this over here by holding shift. Now the press E and simply increase the size like this by holding Alt. Okay, like that. Then select this, hit Ctrl C, create a new layer, and press Ctrl Shift V, and let's try to bring this over here. Okay, so all of the sides of the boxes are ready. Now we will start with our top one, which is going to cover this entire stuff. So let's lock all of this and now create a new layer. And to do that, what I'm going to do over here is this time I'm going to press P for pen tool, and over here we are going to choose different color like this color over here. Okay, and then try to create it. Also lock this layer as well. And now our basic motto is that we need to cover this stuff with the help of our shapes. So from here to here, let's say, like at this point, as you guys can see, this is properly at the center. So create one, hit click, then go over here, click one, then go over here and click. Okay, so this is going to be my one side. Select this, hit Ctrl C, new layer, press Ctrl Shift V. Okay, right click, go to the transform, and we will choose reflect and hit OK, and simply bring this over here like this by holding shift. Okay, so this portion is ready, and now we need to create one shapes for this side as well. So create a new layer. Let's lock these two, press P for pen tool. From here to here, then here, click, click. Okay, so this is going to be the another side. Again we will follow the same procedure. Hit Ctrl C, new layer, Ctrl Shift V, right click, transform, reflect, and this time we will choose horizontal and hit OK, and let's bring this over here. So as you guys can see, this is totally covering our entire stuff like that. And now only thing we need to do is we need to adjust it. So what we can do, you can select this and move this at this point. Make sure that it should touch this edge. Select this one, move to this point. Select this one, bring this downwards. Select this one and bring this upwards like that. Okay, so this is going to be my box. So I'll save this file over here, and we can adjust the color of this boxes later as well. And right now we will keep it as it is. So why I'm keeping as it is, because it would be better for me to understand that they are different from each other, and to do that you can change the color of each and every box. So I'm going to do that. So it will just help me to understand that these two, all of these structures are different over here. Okay, let's choose different color. Okay, so here is the first section of our tutorial is completed. We have easily separated our logo, as well as we have created structure for our animation in Illustrator. Now in next section we will try to animate this logo. So our logo is ready in Photoshop, and our box structure is also ready in Illustrator, and now we need to animate both of these files in After Effects. So here I am in After Effects, and let's create a new composition. We will call it as main animation. Width is 1920, height is 180, frame rate should be 30 seconds, duration is also 30 seconds, and background color is white color, and simply hit OK. Choose to grid and guideline option and choose title save action. Then press Ctrl I to import our file, and I'm going to select my Illustrator file first. Footage, I'm going to choose composition, return layers and sizes, and simply hit import, and we will bring this file over here. Now this is going to be my logo animation file. So double click to open this, press Ctrl K to open the project settings, and let's call it as animation like this. Okay, select all of them and enable this icon. Now first thing first is that we need to create a box out of it, but before that we need to adjust their respective anchor points. Okay, so this is going to be my main structure, so I'm not going to change anything over here, but for all of this we need to change their anchor point. So press Y, which is a shortcut key for this pen behind tool, and make sure to enable the snapping, and all of this side anchor point should be at the bottom. Similarly at this time the anchor point should be at their respective bottoms like that. This one also here, this one should be also here, and this one should be also here. Okay, so all of the anchor points are properly adjusted. Select all of them and enable the 3D layer. Now this portion should be parent with these portions, so we have to keep in mind. So what we're gonna do, I'm going to select this, and let's try to bring them both of them at the top, and then select this, and we will make it apparent with this layer, which is this one. Same thing, select this portion, bring them both at the top, select this and make it apparent with this one, which is this one layer. Similarly select these two layers, bring them at the top, select this layer and make it apparent with this one. Select these two layers, bring them at the top, select this layer and make it apparent with this one. Now this uppermost portions over here, what I'm gonna do, I'm going to select these layers. Similarly, make sure to hold shift to selecting this, and let's change the color of these layers to yellow, so it would be easy for us to understand that these are quite different layers. Okay, and now because they are all converted into 3D, let's try to rotate them. Now let's select this, press R for rotation, and we have to rotate on Y axis, but okay, so let's make this -90. Similarly, the thing which is parent with this, also press R, and let's make this -90. Okay, and let's minimize it. Similarly, because this one are in -90 direction, so obviously this one should be in +90 direction. So select this, press R, let's make this +90. Okay, and this portion is also parent with this one, so press R and also make this +90. Same thing for this one, but on this one we have to change the axis on x-axis. So initially make this -90, and this layer, because it's parent with this one, so press R and also make this -90. Okay, and hit U. Now similarly, this, because this upper one is on -90, so then obviously this two layers should be on +90, so press R, and initially let's make this +90, so it would be easy for you to understand that how they are working, like this. Then this one, press R and let's make this +90. So our box is ready. Now if you go to the custom view, you can see this boxes over here like that. Okay, if you see, we are getting this kind of stuff. Okay, now let's make this active camera. Now if I see this, right click, new, and create one null object, and those, let's select all of them and change their parenting. We don't need that parenting anymore, and now we will make it a parent with this null object. And if I select this null object and convert it into 3D, press R for rotation, and we can rotate it on this axis. Now if you see, this side is at this point over here, which means this yellow color signs over here are at this point, so we have to adjust our null object accordingly, in such a way that that side should be at upward like this. Okay, so if I rotate it on 180 degree, then only not 180 but maybe 90 degree, then only that point is gonna be upward. So let's select this, press P, and let's try to bring this downward over here. Okay, like this, and then let's delete that object. Okay, so now if I select this portion over here and if I press R, and if I change it, I'll get this kind of stuff. Okay, then select all of these yellow layers over here, and let's try to bring them at the top. Okay, like this. Okay, so press Ctrl K and let's call it as box animation, like this. Now let's go to the main animation comp, and we have this box over here. Let's click on this icon as well as this icon, so it would be easy for us to understand. Now select this, press P for position, and let's bring this position downward like this. Okay, somewhere around over here. You can decrease the size as well. Now select this, press P, select this, right click and choose separate dimension. Okay, along with that we'll press R. So if we press R, we can rotate it as well. So let's create one keyframe on each axis like this. Now hit U and press P, create again keyframes over here. Now I'll go somewhere around, let's say 1.10 frame. I'll create another keyframe. Also go to the 2 seconds. I'm going to create another keyframe, and in middle of that, let's bring this a little bit upward like this. And at this point, I'm going to change the X frame or X position over here, and Z position on this axis like that. Also, if you want, you can bring this over here, and in middle of that, at somewhere around at this position, I'm going to change the Y position somewhere around like this. Okay, over here. Then at this point, press R for rotation, so you can see those rotation keyframes, and somewhere around at 10 frames, let's make this one complete rotation. So if you see, we are getting something like that. And if we change this, add this on X rotation, so I'll get something like this. Okay, so let's try to create on Z axis. How does it looks? Okay, it looks something like this. I think this looks good to me. And now our keyframes are ready, and now we will try to adjust the graph of y position keyframe. Along with that, we will try to adjust the x position graph as well. Okay, so let's select this y position keyframe and hit F9 to ease those keyframe. Go to the graph, right click and make sure that you are in edit speed graph. Select this by holding shift, move this handle over here, shift hold, move this handle over here, select this, move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here like this. And at this point select this, shift hold, move this handle over here, this handle over here, move this handle over here, as well as move this handle over here. So if you see, we will get something like this. Okay, now along with that, for this rotation keyframe, I'm going to hit F9. I'll go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift, I'll move this handle over here, as well as I'll move this handle over here like this. Okay, and if you think this Z rotation looks weird, so simply delete it like this. We can keep it as it is as well. Similarly, if you want, you can, let's try to rotate it on X position like this, and select those X position keyframe, X rotation keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph, shift hold, and let's try to adjust the X pull rotation like this. Okay, and if you don't even want that, you can simply bring only Y position keyframe as well. Okay, I mean Y rotation keyframe like this, that also looks good. Okay, or one other thing you can do, for example, if you see the X rotation looks weird over here, and Z rotation looks weird, so what you can do, go to the last and create one keyframe at 0 and go somewhere around over here and change the Z rotation somewhere around like this. Okay, over here. So if you see, we will get something like this, and initially the scale should be not like that, so press S, unlink this, and you can scale it on whatever axis you want. I'm going to scale it on this axis only. So initially, let's create one keyframe at somewhere around at this point, create another keyframe, and at the start let's make this 0. So if you see, we'll get something like this. Then select those keyframe and hit F9, go to the graph, select this graph, shift hold, and move this handle over here like this. Okay, so we will get something like this. Now at this point, when this is gonna come over here, let's do one thing. We will bring this Y position somewhere around like this, hit Ctrl C, or instead of that, simply copy this value and go over here and copy this value again. So if you see, we'll get this animation, and then somewhere around at this point, I'm going to select this, press create one keyframe at Y position, go few frame forward, create another keyframe at Y position, go somewhere around over here. Let's bring this a little bit upward and go few frame forward and bring this totally up to this like this maybe, and then go somewhere around over here like this. Okay, over here. Then select those keyframe and hit F9, and let's try to adjust the graph now. Go to the graph editor, zoom in a little bit. Let's select this by holding shift, move this handle over here and move this handle over here, select this, move this handle over and move this handle over here like this. Similarly, at this point, shift hold, move this over here and move this over here. Okay, and at this point, simply select this and move this handle over here and this handle over here, and let's go over here and let's bring this totally downward like it's gone. Okay, so if you see, we will get something like this. Okay, and at this point I want the boxing should start to open, so let's go inside this, and I'm going to select all of these layers, press R for rotation, and we are going to create the keyframes on whatever axis they have a different value. Like on x-axis they have 90, so create one keyframe over here on y-axis, over here as well on y-axis, and over here as well as x-axis over here, and hit U now. Okay, then go somewhere around over here. At this point, let's double click and we will make this value somewhere around like this. Let's make this 125, similarly 125 but in minus sorry, minus 125. Similarly, select this, minus 125, select this, and at this point make this 125, like this. Select those keyframe and hit F9. So we will get this row opening animation over here, like this. Okay, and we will bring this animation up to this frame. Okay, so by holding Alt, let's try to bring this up to this. Okay, let's bring this up to this only, not too much. Okay, so if I say this now, first I'll get this. Okay, and then we will get this. Now somewhere around at this point, let's double click, create one keyframe each, and at this point let's go inside this and we will try to bring this upward like this over here. Similarly, this one should be a little bit over here, this one should be a little bit over here, and this one should be a little bit over here. Similarly, at this point again I'm going to select this keyframe, Ctrl C Ctrl V, Ctrl C Ctrl V, Ctrl C Ctrl V, and Ctrl C Ctrl V, like this. And at this point over here, go inside this, we will Ctrl C Ctrl V this keyframe, like this over here. So if I see this animation, I'll get something like this. And at this point, let's bring this a little bit downward. So if I see this animation, first I'll get this and we'll get something like this. And now what I'm gonna do, somewhere around at this point, I'll go inside this, I'm going to select all of this keyframe and I'm going to move them a little bit forward like this. So what will happen, we will get this kind of secondary action over here, like this over here. As you guys can see, first we will get this and then we will get this. Now somewhere around at this point, I am going to press Ctrl I to bring my Photoshop file, footage, import as composition, return layer sizes, and simply hit import. Okay, so this is going to be my over here. Let's double click, hit Ctrl A to Ctrl C to copy, go over here, hit Ctrl V, and let's try to bring this position properly at the center like this. Okay, and bring this over here. Let's minimize it. Press P for position, right click and choose separate dimension for each and every one. Similarly, create one keyframe at X and one keyframe at Y. Press S for scaling option, create one keyframe. Press R for rotation, create another keyframe, and hit U like this. Go few frame forward, create one keyframe at X and one keyframe at Y. Scale and rotation, create another keyframe. Okay, and at the start, go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically. Let's delete this Amazon logo, not over here. So we'll get something like this, and somewhere around at this point, I'm going to select all of this and let's change the wire position of it somewhere around over here. Initially, let's make this scale 10 like this. Now along with that, I need rotation animation as well, so let's go over here and let's make this one complete rotation. Now in search option, first I'm going to type Y, so it will show us only Y position keyframe. Select all of this Y positions and hit F9. Go to the graph, select this graph, select this, shift hold, move this handle over here and move this handle over here, move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here. So we will get something like this. Now along with that, I need a little bit of bounciness, so let's go few frame forward, create another keyframe at Y, go in middle and let's bring this a little bit over here. Okay, select this, bring this over here, go to the graph, select this and shift hit F9. Let's select this much, shift hold, move this handle over here and move this handle over here. Select this, move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here. So you will get this kind of animation. Now obviously I want one by one, so I'll hit page down button one time. With the help of open square bracket, I'm going to move them over here, adjust it like this, and adjust it like this and adjust it like this. Okay, and hit U. Select all of them and enable the motion blur, and let's bring this downwards like this. So if we see this animation, I'll get this animation first and then we'll get this animation. Now over here, if you see at this point, this looks quite weird, so let's go inside this over here, and when this is opening, let's select this much keyframe, go to the graph, select this, and let's bring this a little bit over here like this. Okay, or instead of that, let's go somewhere around at this point. I'll go inside this, I'll select this keyframe, I'll move them over here, and I'll select this keyframe and I'll move them over here. So it will look like after when it's touching the ground, then it's opening. Okay, so it will look like this is opening at this point. So we will get this, and then we will get this. So this is how we will get our animation. And now in our last stage, we will add some extra stuffs to this. Okay, so here we are in the final chapter of our animation. Now we need to add some extra stuff to our animation, so let's try to do that. Extra stuff, basically we need to fix this color correction and we need to add some extra stuffs to this animation. So let's try to do that. Now obviously the box color should not like this, so I'll go inside this, but before that let's select this option, which is an arrow, and hit Ctrl C. And now let's go inside this box animation and we will hit Ctrl V over here. We are using this just for the color code, so select these boxes, go to the effect and presets panel and search for fill and double click to apply, and with the help of this pickup color, I'm going to pick up this color. I'll copy this fill, Ctrl C, select all of them and hit Ctrl V. Okay, and let's delete this arrow. So if I see this now, I'll get something like this. Similarly over here, I'll get this kind of stuff. But over here, if you see, the color looks quite weird. So what we can do, I can select the topmost layers over here and change the color of this one to little bit the darker version. Okay, and let's copy this color code and to hit Ctrl C, go to all the yellow layers over here. That's why I have changed the color of this one, so it would be easy for me to understand that these two are different layers like this. And now if I see over here, as you guys can see, I am getting different effect for this one. Similarly, if you go to select and bottom one over here, like this one over here as well, I need different colors, so hit Ctrl V, that color code. So over here, as you guys can see, we are getting this two different color over here. Similarly, if you select this something which is at this side over here as well, I'm going to hit Ctrl V, but I'm going to choose a little bit lighter color, not completely dark. So copy that color code and select this much portion. Let's hide this. Let's select this area, and over here copy that color code. Okay, so if you see this now we have all different color for these boxes like this, and then we will get our animation like this over here. Now let's do one thing, select all of them and disable this motion blur. We don't want motion blur right now. Now this portion is done. Now let's try to select all of them and press Ctrl Shift C, and we will call it as animation over here like this. And let's save, sorry, we will save this later over here. And over here I need a certain kind of light swipe effect, so go to the effect and presets panel and search for light sweep and double click to apply. So we will get this light sweep, and simply initially move this over here. Okay, and when this animation is touching over here, I'll create one keyframe at the center, hit U, let's go somewhere around at 8 seconds, and let's move this from here to here. So if you see, we will get this kind of stuff. Now along with all of this stuff, I need a little bit of scaling animation, so press S, create one keyframe, hit U, go to the last, and let's make this 110, or let's make this 90. and hit N over here. Okay, so if you see, first we will get this and then this. The main motto is that I need a little bit of scaling animation. Then press Ctrl Y to create one solid background and select this white background. Go to the effect and presets panel and search for CC vintage effect and double click to apply. Also, let's change the amount of this to 50. Okay, like this. So we will get something like this over here. Now if you see over here, this box is coming over here, but there is no shadow kind of structure over here. So for that, let's go inside this. I'm going to select my ellipse tool and let's change the color of this one to not black but grayish, and we will create one ellipse rectangle over here and press Ctrl Alt Home, and let's bring this totally downwards. And now let's go somewhere around over here and let's see at which point this is going to come. So at this point over here, let's bring this over here, press S for scaling option, create one keyframe, let's choose quad resolution, and at this point should be downward like this. Okay, and this is touching at this point, which means at this point create one keyframe. At this point let's decrease the scale somewhere around like 0 maybe, like this, and as it goes upward the scale should be 0, and as it like this, and as it goes downward the scale should be again Ctrl C Ctrl V like this. Okay, again at this point when it's going to go upward, create one keyframe like this. Somewhere around at this point the scale should be a little bit 0, and as it goes over here the scale should be again this one Ctrl C Ctrl V, and because it goes upward at this point let's make the scale totally 0 and select those keyframe and hit F9. So now if I see this, I'll get something like this. Okay, but obviously shadow is not like this, so let's go to the effect and presets panel and search for blur effect, and we are going to apply Gaussian blur, and let's make this Gaussian blur 200, or if you want let's make this 100, and let's see, we'll get something like this. So if you see, we are getting something like this, and select this, press T, and let's make this opacity 40 like that. Okay, and if you want to move this a little bit downward, you can right click, new, and create one null object. Select this shape layer, make it apparent with this null, select this null and try to bring this a little bit downward, and let's delete it. Okay, so now if you see, first we will get this, and then we will get this over here. You can enable this icon over here. Okay, now along with this there should be some motion blur in our animation, so you can right click, new, and add one adjustment layer. You can go to the effect and presets panel and you can search for motion blur and apply this pixel motion blur, and you can double click to apply, and you can choose this 180. So what will happen along with this animation, as you guys can see, we are getting a little bit of motion blur. Okay, now suppose if you want this animation in 24 frames, so you can right click, new, and create one adjustment layer. You can go to the effect and presets panel and search for posterize time, and you can choose 24 frames, so it will look like the 24 frame animation. And if you want very smooth animation, so you can choose frame rate to 60 as well. Okay, so your animation will look a little bit smoother like that. Okay, so this is how we can create this kind of logo reveal animation.